It's been a while, Cherie. I didn't know if we were going to get that.
It's been longer than anticipated.
Yeah, but I think it's worth the time that we kind of took that little break.
I think so. It was a good summer, and I think when you take a break, it gives you time to kind of self-reflect, reevaluate,
all the things,
rejuvenate yourself.
I mean, kids were home, so yeah. I mean, to make time to be with them, that was definitely the bigger picture, was to be present with them.
Yeah.
But I think for sure, just so many other changes I think have happened, and we're just like, okay, this is escalating. So we needed a little bit extra time.
I think so. What started off as a month kind of turned into the whole summer, but I think it was a good thing, truthfully. So do we want to share our news of coming back?
So Cherie had the craziest idea. And no, we were planning out to be a little bit more intentional with what we've learned from recording from the first half. And in our planning session, we had this wild idea to just change the entire name. And it came so random.
Yes.
But when it hits. And so we hope you like it, because we really like it.
I think that when we both had the aha moment, it was one of those like, oh, that's it. Because I think we really struggled with naming the podcast.
Yeah.
It feels so permanent, I think, when you're trying to come up with the right name. And I think, we've made it through. This is episode 21. So we've been doing this a hot minute. We've got a little more experience under our belt. And I think it felt, when we came upon this aha moment, it felt very authentic, and it felt more in line with the direction of the podcast, that things had naturally progressed in the direction of the new name.
Yeah. And I guess to give it more context and backstory, the whole idea for this was truly to build like a community of friends that we could talk about things that we experience, and, eventually grow to where we are getting other feedback from other moms that have different experiences from us. So we knew that was a big deal. So we were building a community. And so we were talking and we were thinking about different ideas for stuff, and literally the name just kind of came, but for a different purpose. And like how we kind of operate is we're both perfectionists, but we are different people.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it clicks, and I was like, look, I know we said this, but what do you think about this? I'm like, I know it's crazy. And she's like, no, I kind of was feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
So do you want to share your thoughts about it? Or are you ready to share the name?
I think in general, my thoughts were, the initial thought was a little bit of fear.
Yeah.
In rebranding, just because, one, it is a lot of work to rebrand, and two, you build this community and you start to gain a following. So I think there's that instant fear of like, is it going to resonate with others like it resonated with us? But it was such, I think, an instant yes, even in spite of the fear for me, because it felt so, like, it just felt natural in the progression of how the podcast has really grown. Because I think that, us being friends and really just, this is just the everyday chit chat, this is like, how do we build that community further and really just, get more in line with, I think, the ultimate vision. And so it was an instant yes, even though there was a lot of fear.
With all the work that was into it. Like, how do we get all this work done in enough time? And that's when we're like, okay, well, to do this right, let's step back.
Yeah.
I think some people may already know what the name is, because on certain platforms we've had to go ahead and change it to secure it. That is also that scary part. Is like, okay, I have a great idea, but somebody else has it.
Yeah.
And for us to have the idea, for us to both be on the same page, and for no one to have had the idea, we're like, it's ours.
Yeah.
I want it. Let's do it. We can't deny it. Like, it was here for us.
Yeah.
To do this. And yeah, true to the fact that we are friends, and it's not that it's about being friends with like-minded people, but the people that we like are authentic people that, like, it's not always fun. It's not always great. I am grateful for it, but I'm not scared to be honest about when I am having a hard time or something I'm not necessarily enjoying. And that's the community. Like, we're not trying to make it out to be this perfect scenario, but how do we help each other figure it out?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think that, that really was the ultimate vision, and changing the name to the new brand I think it really it resonates. At least it resonated with me, because it shifted focus from the mom element to the community element, which I really loved. I mean, obviously we're all moms, and I think as a mom, you always put your children first. It's such a selfless thing. And I think that shifting this to a little bit different light, it just made perfect sense in the direction we were headed. So, do you want to share our new name?
So, we'd like to officially welcome you guys to the Mom Friend Material Podcast.
Yep.
So,
all right, let's do this thing.
That's exciting. Oh my gosh, please like it.
Oh, I think it'll be, now that we put the name out there, I think that, that is really the community that we set out to build, and it just resonates so much better. I think for me that it's like, oh, I see, even just talking about, like, when we're talking about taking a few new photos for branding, and it's it's like, oh, it's this elevated brand, I think, from, we started off as this little baby podcast, and we've grown, and then this just really reflects that.
And I don't regret it, because it was the thing, like, hey, listen, let's start, because if you don't start it, you don't know what you don't know. And so it's allowed us to tweak certain things and how we go about it differently, and to be better prepared. And I think we really took this time to, one, be present with our families, but to really be prepared, because this means so much to us. As we've said, this is a passion project of ours that we give you guys something worth taking your time to listen to or to watch. So we hope you guys are great mom friend material, and hope we are to you. So
For sure. So heading off into the direction of the topic of our podcast today, obviously we've had a lot of things transpire this summer.
So much.
How was your summer?
A lot of good actual self-reflection.
Yeah.
And let me give this caveat. I'm not sad. My youngest is starting kindergarten, and I chose to look at it as this is the first day of kindergarten, but I'm happy to start new first. I don't need to keep reliving the same first over and over. This will be the third go of this.
Right.
So, had enough.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her. She's excited. So there's no cause for me to be sad about that. But it's definitely been a summer of self-reflection and changes for me personally and professionally, and how I can show up better for my family, how I can show up better for my clients, and honestly for this community too. Like, so I'm always kind of authentic, that I'm not really being fake about it. I'm doing what I want to do. So I took a lot of time this summer, and then a lot of like shakeups, but the shakeups I think were good, because if you guys noticed, we're in a different setup, which
new name, new set.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fresh start happening with this episode, really.
So it's just been so many different things, but it's caused, so I've chose to, what do I get out of these learning experiences?
Yeah.
And so I took the summer, in the last week, I just came back. I call it like a bonus trip.
Yeah.
Buy one, get one free. I tagged along to my husband's conference trip, because I got to go for free. I just had to pay for my plane ticket. And I took that time to just refresh my brain.
Yeah.
Shut it off for a little bit. No work. Just rest. And then I could be present for the kids going back to school in less than 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it's snuck up very quickly.
So what about you? How has the summer been?
It's been a good summer. It's been kind of a weird summer. I know we were kind of chatting earlier as we were setting up in our new space, but it's been, we took a lot. We vacationed. That's all my favorite vacation is the beach vacation that we take with my in-laws because it's just so stress-free. Like it's just gives you that time to step away. They do this for the family. Everybody's welcome to come. They take care of most of the expenses. You just got to get yourself there. So that's always a nice vacation to take. And then they're just so wonderful to vacation with because they're like, oh, go to have a date night and, step away. And so it was a great vacation. That's probably the highlight of my summer, I think.
Are they looking to adopt any more kids?
I think they got enough with 5. Plus now people are married and, you keep growing and growing. But, I don't know. They may take somebody in. So that was good. This was our first experience with summer camp, which I know we talked about earlier in the year because you have to sign up so early for summer camp.
Early. Yeah.
And you just don't know what you don't know. And my little one is very happy that summer camp has come to an end. He's at like a day camp for like a couple of days this week and probably next week, but it's not that same, me trying to find that consistency for him, he got bored. And so it was a learning experience for sure on the summer camp. And so I'm happy that that's kind of coming to an end. It was a slower real estate summer than what I'm used to, but it's remained fairly steady for me. I didn't have like the big pops that I normally do, but I'm also finding happiness in the balance of not being, I'm doing a level of business that I'm happy with, even though I would love to do more. I'm really happy, and I think I've found good balance, which I can really appreciate because, the last few years have been chaos, but I am really looking forward to school starting. And I think that there's something about school starting that you really just get this like refresh. It feels like such a fresh start. It allows you that time to kind of refocus.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to that very, routine. And I think that I definitely thrive in routine. And I think the summer, while it's nice to take a break from the routine, I'm very much looking forward to like going back to it. So
yeah, oh, for sure. I felt like I've not known what to do with the time, and I didn't want to get comfortable with it because it's not normal.
Yeah.
So this will be the first time in forever that I've had all 3 girls in school 5 days a week. So I was very aware that you need to find something to do with that time, or it will find you, and you may not like what you fill the space in with. So I've been way more intentional with making sure that I'm exercising or moving my body.
Yeah.
Most days of the week, not 7 days. I tried it. It's not for me.
That's not for me.
But doing that and like, okay, so there are days that are like home days. There are days that are editing days. Like designate these days and really time block and utilize this time, because now I'm not going to have any excuse for being self-employed. The kids are gone and I'm not paying for it. Thank you, public school.
Yeah.
That I'm not making the most of that time with being able to fit everything in while they're at school. So, I mean, I'm excited. I know I saw something where they were like, oh, it's kind of sad that people are like, oh, can't wait for the kids to go back to normal. But I don't want them to have structure over the summer. I kind of want them to be able to enjoy it. I don't want to have to, have you keep up with all this tight schedule over the summer. This is your break. But you can't live on a break. We can't live.
No.
We've had enough. I have had enough. I'm ready for the routine and the schedule and to just know how to move forward, because school is most of the year.
It is.
I'm ready to get back into what that new normal will be for our house.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. It's been, all of the usual preparations. We've got our parent teacher I say parent teacher. It's like an assessment. Like Levi comes with us to like a meet the teacher.
Okay.
They do.
I thought they were going to test you guys, see like, are they sketchy parents or are they?
No, well, I mean that wouldn't, I guess, be a terrible idea. But no, it's like they're going to assess him and like assess his skills to see where he's at. Which, I'm really thankful that we did pre-K because I feel like going into kindergarten, I feel like he's really well prepared, and so yeah, so I mean we've been. I asked him, I was like, so we need to get a new lunchbox and a new backpack because the ones that you have from last year, like my child is just really hard on things. Like we get new shoes about every 3 months, not because he outgrows them, but because he has just worn them out.
You're just getting your money's worth out of them.
Yeah. And so, my pocketbook doesn't always like buying new shoes every 3 months, but thank you, Nordstrom Rack and TJ Maxx, because I usually find some. Usually that's where I get his shoes. So he told me, he goes, Mom, I really just want the same backpack and the same lunchbox.
Aww.
And I was like, really? I was like, you don't want to get a new print? Like we can get the same lunchbox because I usually pack his lunchbox in the bent go because it's got like the ice pack, everything.
The compartment.
It's the compartments. And he is very, like he likes the compartments. And so.
He's a very mature young man.
He's just real particular, maybe a little OCD. And so I think, that I was a little shocked at that. I was like, you don't want to pick out a new backpack? Like when we got last year's backpack, it's a Minion backpack.
Okay. And
yellow is his favorite color. And so he's like, nope, if I get a different backpack, I'm really going to miss this backpack. I was like, okay, all right. That works for me. So we've been doing the usual, preparation of things. We've checked a lot of the boxes outside of, he definitely needs new shoes. We have worn the ones he has out, which really they've probably lasted the longest. They've probably made it more like 5 months.
Oh, okay. Maybe repurchase those same shoes again.
Literally, that's my plan. I'm going to let him look at the colors available on Amazon and say, all right, which ones do you want? Because I got these at Nordstrom Rack. I think, honestly, the last time we went to Nordstrom Rack together is when I got them, and I think it's been about 4 to 5 months, which that's a good time frame for him on shoes. So I think that's really our last preparation because we bought the school box of, well, they don't give you an option in pre-K and kindergarten. You have to buy the stuff from them, which is fine. I'm happy with that.
I had sticker shock on that box for kindergarten. I'm just going to be really honest. I've done it before, and I love it. It's convenient. And so when I saw the sticker price, which ours was a little over $100.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for crayons and markers? Seriously? But Jared's like, honestly, you're going to probably spend that and then some going in the store, probably because it's going to escalate and buy stuff I don't have any business buying. So I was able to do that. And then our second is going to middle school. So they still gave us a supply list. I just did an order from Target. Thank God everything came in. They didn't have to tell me something was out of stock. Mm-hmm. So we have everything prepared. And our 10th grader, she's like, oh, I don't need anything. We're like, nothing. So to be determined. We'll see first week of school when she's telling me the list of stuff that she needs the next day at 8 o'clock at night. Like, thank you so much.
Our supply fee is, I think, $400. But it includes a nap mat, it includes all their supplies, and it includes snacks for the year for them to get an afternoon snack, I guess. Or a morning snack. I don't know. A snack at some point in the day.
I mean, I guess. But, well, it is what it is. It's not optional.
It's not optional. And, so it was like, well, I guess we're going to pay. After this, we can choose to buy the box or we can get the supply list. Quite frankly, I'm a convenienced kind of girl, so I will probably always just do the box.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because it's done, and then now it ships to your house.
Yeah.
Once upon a time ago, you'd have to go get it from the school, from prep day.
Yeah.
So we still have 2 kids left for their prep days. One is the day before school starts. I'm like, well, that's kind of rude, but, whatever. The uniforms and... Dylan, we still have to do her shoes. Yeah. But she's very, very excited for kindergarten.
I bet. She's such a social butterfly that I can't imagine her doing anything but thriving in kindergarten because she's very particular, but she loves to be social.
Yeah. Let's hope she's not the mean girl. She's so well spoken is what we say.
She
the
is.
things that she says is sometimes it's like, you know, with some kids, you know, like you get a call from the school, you're like, oh my God, my kid's hurt, whatever. That one, I'm not really sure what we're going to get. Hopefully none. I mean, the goal is always no calls, but with her, I'm like, please let you and your teacher mesh well.
I know.
And that she understands your heart and that you are a sweet kid, but you speak as if you've been here before.
So have any of your other children had this same teacher?
No. So it's been so many shifts with the area that we live in growing that they open new elementary schools, and so like the shift in the teachers. So I think we're gonna get the selection will be a different group of kindergarten teachers that I've never had before. So Peyton had started out at a different school, so we had pre-K to first grade in private school, and so she didn't get to this school until second grade. So Riley started from the beginning, and her kindergarten teacher was amazing, but she's no longer at the school. So I'm gonna get a surprise, which we've gotten so lucky, which is also so scary for a paranoid individual like myself that like at some point it's not going to be perfect.
Well,
so
I asked
optimistic
because we got I have no experience with the pre-K teachers at Levi's school, but we got the tough teacher supposedly. And so I'm a little nervous about that. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm trying not to put too much of my opinion around it right now because, one, I've never met this person. And so, you know, we all have an opinion, and my opinion might be different than the opinions that I've heard. But I've heard from a few people, they're like, oh, yeah, you got the tough teacher. And I'm like, what is that supposed to mean?
I always kind of hate that because then you're just waiting for them to be mean to your kid or your kid not to like it. So that preconceived notion kind of makes it worse.
It does.
And but then a part of me appreciates somewhat of a heads up. So I am more aware and
it might make you, you know, give your child a little more slack if if there's an issue of like, I think it makes you look at that a little more objectively, whereas I'm very much if your teacher is saying you did this, then I'm probably on the side of the teacher most of the time because at the end of the day, they're an adult versus a child. And I mean, look, I know my child was over here trying to get over on me. So I know they're probably trying to get over at school. But I think it gives you maybe a little more perspective to go, all right, let me like see what this is really about. But yeah, we'll see. I'm a little nervous about it though.
Yeah, we didn't have it rough until like we got to middle school. And I think that there's this shift too because, you know, puberty and hormones and attitudes kind of kick in. So I will hear them out and just say, you're not always going to have somebody that is going to be the most amazing teacher ever to you, but there's still a level of respect. But there are some times where I'm listening and I'm telling her how to be respectful and be mindful of being heard and not misunderstood, that sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm about to send this email to this teacher. Now, she doesn't know I've sent this email. I'm still teaching her to be respectful, but then I got to teach that teacher, listen, not the household.
Right.
We're not the household for that. And not even in an ugly way, but hey, just listen. This wasn't okay, or is there something, and a lot of times I come from it, is there something we can do better here, or that we can encourage? Like, know that as a household, we're present, but in middle school, they want nothing to do with the parent. Everything is communicated and handled through the student, and I'm like, there are still very much children at this time, and you're relaying everything to them and expecting it to be done properly. Like, you're around kids all day, you should know better. But it's how it works. They don't communicate directly to us. It is through the child, which is...
That sounds like trash.
Oh, high garbage.
I mean...
It is horrible. And so it's like, so we're in our second shift of that, so I'm fully aware. I get all the reminders, but like paper copies and stuff doesn't happen. School-wide emails doesn't happen. I mean, literally to things like early dismissal days, they have to come and tell me. That's your butt. Considering it's carpool these days, then ain't a bus surprising me at home. So please make sure you communicate to me in a timely manner.
Right. So you can plan accordingly to, you know.
So I don't know. But I I'm here for it, I guess. I mean, I don't really have a choice, whatever it is.
I think you're on for the ride, and you know, it's just one of those things that you set them up as best as you can going into it, and you just kind of adjust as you go. So, you know, I think we're working on probably this week going to bed a little earlier, getting back, because we kind of got lax in the summer about the, you know, when you had to go to bed. And I think eventually that will go away, but, you know, now, because at some point you have to get up. Like, even though I'm like, okay, I'm not hammering you that you have to be up at, you know, 6:30 to do all of these things or whatever.
We don't have to do that with Dylan. She's up.
Well, most of the time Levi's up. But you know what's going to happen? During the summer, he's been willy-nilly getting up at 6:30. School's going to start. I guarantee you day one. And he's going to be like, why'd you wake me up? I'm going to have to wake him up to get him up and dressed and all the things.
Fix that young man a cup of coffee until I'm gone.
Well, he does love his coffee. So.
He's so old.
He is literally an old man in a child's body. Like, it's so funny because I have switched to drink. It's been such a hot summer. I mean, we've had a freaking heat wave, okay? And I have switched to drinking the cold Starbucks that you get at the grocery store and just doing iced coffee. I love iced coffee more than hot coffee, unless it's really cold outside. Like, even in the fall, I probably am getting iced coffee. It's like borderline. Yeah. Winter, I'll switch to hot coffee. But really, winter is really the only time we really see cold weather here. So
on a couple of days.
On a couple of days. And so I really like iced coffee. And he has been giving me a hard time that I have not brewed actual coffee in our coffee pot, because he's like, well, I want to drink coffee. And I'm like, well, I'll fix you some of the iced coffee. I don't want iced coffee. I want the hot coffee. Like,
He's going to be one of those men, and I just want it black. 2 sugars.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, right now it's coffee milk, because there ain't no way he needs that much caffeine, you know, on a full cup of black. But he wants, you know, cream and sugar and all that stuff. But yeah, so we're trying to transition to the, you know, probably we're going to go back to more of like we're going to start getting ready for bed at like 7:30 so that we're in bed by, you know, 7:45, 7:50, and hopefully he'll be asleep by like 8:15. Here lately it's been like 8:15 we kind of start getting ready, 8 or 8:15 I guess, and then he's asleep more by 9. But I know that he's going to there's something about getting their brains working again that it kind of just tires them out. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to switch back to that, because, you know.
We have to do the drill where, like, I need you to be up and dressed by the time you need to be out the house. Like, let's run the drill.
Yep.
I mean, it's the oldest girl who's wearing makeup to school. Like, make sure it's all done. Or I don't care if you go with one eye with eyeshadow on, half a face done. It's time to go.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, we'll see. It'll be growing pains for all of us. Yeah. Because I'm actually not a morning person. And I want to stop saying that to, like, I want everybody out of the house so then I can enjoy the rest of the day now at an earlier time and for a little bit longer every day, because now we're not doing Mother's Day out. So I enjoyed the season, but I'm really happy that it's over.
Happy to close that chapter. So,
Absolutely.
Anyway. All right. Well, I think that is a wrap for the first episode of Mom Friend Material.
We definitely missed you guys.
Yes.
And we're happy to finally be back in the groove of things.
I know. It feels good to record today.
It did, finally.
Finally.
The setup was real.
Who was it? But all right, guys, we will see you next week.
Bye.